Hello and welcome to Granada Reports.
Hello, good evening. Here's what's coming up on tonight's programme.
We can't compromise on public safety. Another delay to the opening of the country's newest and largest indoor arena. This time it's nearly a month. Comedian Peter Kay, due to perform first, says he can't believe it.
Remembering James, the victim of a terrorist murder, as a coroner delivers his findings on how it happened.
Gary went to close the blind and he said, "John," and I went, "One." He said, "There's a police car outside," and that was it. Our lives just turned upside down from that night.
Why Corrie's Rob Mallard is speaking out about his neurological condition and its impact on day-to-day life.
We meet the team of cricketers creating a bit of history in the Lancashire League.
And what's the weather going to be like this weekend? Well, it might be a little bit disappointing, a bit more cloud, some rain, but eventually the temperatures will start to lift.
First tonight, comedian Peter Kay says he can't believe it either. The opening of what's been billed as Europe's biggest arena has been delayed for a second time.
Manchester City Council said there were still some safety fears, including issues with vital emergency services communication, internal security and fire safety measures.
The venue's had a week of damaging headlines and a turbulent 24 hours, culminating in the general manager's resignation after he told us last week he was confident it would open as planned.
Well, our reporter Tim Scott is at the Etihad campus for us tonight. And Tim, it's been a bit of a PR nightmare this for the opening of a multi-million-pound state-of-the-art building.
Yes, Andy. Well, today's announcement that the Co-op Live isn't going to open this weekend is undoubtedly a terrible look for the new arena. Last weekend, a test event by Rick Astley was criticised after ticket numbers were slashed, leaving thousands of concert goers unable to attend. Then Peter Kay's gig last Tuesday was moved to next Tuesday. That won't now happen until May. Neither will the Black Keys concert scheduled here for tomorrow. After today's announcement, Manchester City Council and the emergency services issued a joint statement saying they do support the postponement and that they can't compromise on public safety. They said the likes of emergency communication systems, fire safety and security measures still need to be put in place properly before this place can open. Now, as if all this isn't bad enough, earlier today, their general manager of Co-op Live, Gary Roden, he announced that he was resigning. He'd been criticised for saying that some smaller music venues are badly run, and the management here distanced themselves from those comments. Now, Mr. Roden, he'd been the public face of the new arena, and just last weekend, as you've said, he told us this place was going to open on time.
We will be ready. We're in the testing phase now, so there's lots to test. You know, we've got over 1,000 staff coming in today for the first time operating there. We've got, fans coming in for the first time. You can see around us now that there's cleaners everywhere, putting the last finishing touches. But a building of this scale needs a lot of testing, and so we're just going through the gears and the phases of that right now. But yeah, come Tuesday, we'll be ready.
Meanwhile, music journalist John Robb told me earlier he thinks that Mr. Roden's resignation had everything to do with this place just not opening this weekend and nothing to do with his comments on small music venues.
I think it's unfortunate. I think he's the fall guy for a lot of problems that go on there, but I guess somebody has to take responsibility. It's not been the most glorious of starts for the arena, and it like a showpiece building getting built in Manchester. It's not actually unusual in Manchester for things to open that aren't ready. I mean, how many new buildings and prestige projects have you been to when you go there and you lean on the wall and it's got wet paint on it?
And Tim, of course, all this means that thousands of fans will be disappointed.
Yes, Elaine, well, as you can imagine, all those fans for these arena shows, they travel from all over the country to get here. They have to book travel, they have to book hotels, they book the likes of restaurants. Those plans for those people will now all have been scuppered. Many of those concert goers took to social media today, and suffice to say, most of them were not happy at all. Peter Kay, meanwhile, has said that he can't believe what's happened here. He put up a revised concert advert with the cancelled date struck out, out and made a point of saying he'll now be the 9th, not the first artist to play here. Ironically, though, he'll be doing 2 dates at the AO Arena down the road in Manchester city centre before his rescheduled dates here in May. It now means the first artist to play here will be hip-hop star Boogie with the Hoodie on the 1st of May. Elaine, Andy.
OK, Tim in Manchester at the Etihad, thank you.
Well, next tonight, an inquest at the Old Bailey has concluded the deaths of 3 men in a terrorist attack in a park were probably avoidable.
The father of one of the men, James Furlong, a teacher from Liverpool, says he hopes the inquest will prevent other families from facing the pain and heartbreak that they live with every day.
Kiri Sadala was given a whole life sentence for their murders in June 2020.
Before the coroner delivered his conclusions today, our correspondent Mel Blaw spoke to James's parents about the day of the attack.
We were chatting to James in the kitchen that morning, just chatting away. Gorgeous sunny day, lovely, just chatting away to him. And what are you doing today? And he said, oh, I've got a bit of a headache today, Mum. He said, I mightn't go out today, might just read a book. And I was going, oh, it's a beautiful day, you've been working, doing all the, the lessons because of lockdown, doing all those ones on the computer. And I know Joe had contacted him to go out. They all met that day in the park, just enjoying life, enjoying their best life. And then it came on the news that there'd been an incident and we were sitting here. I phoned James, couldn't get no answer, and he always picked his phone up to me. And he didn't answer, and then I rang him again, no answer. I messaged him, no answer. I just thought it was quite strange for James not to get a contact. Rang the police twice, rang the hospitals twice, nothing. And I thought, well, no news is good news, no one could get in contact. We went to bed, went upstairs to go to bed, and Gary went to close the blind, and he said, Jan, and I went, he said, there's a police car outside, and that was it. Yeah. Our lives just turned upside down from that night.
Yeah.
What happened next?
I felt genuinely sorry for the policeman, and because he's had to come in and tell us this. It literally, he's told me in the hallway, Jan's collapsed in the back kitchen. It took us another 5 days to go and get to see James.
I saw his face on the TV, didn't we?
Yeah.
We couldn't believe it. I was looking at James, you're on the TV. It was shocking.
The hardest thing we'd done was to go back to his flat and then just to find, there's plates and different things where he'd just had a sandwich just before he'd gone out and what have you. And that really did.
That was hard.
I was really, heartbreaking.
Tell us a bit about James. What was he like as a son and a brother?
James was a kind child. He had a big heart, James. He's someone you could talk to, and especially Jan. He was amazing support for Jan, wasn't he?
Yeah, me and James got on really, very well. Good relationship, talked about everything and anything. Could phone him any time. He was funny, witty, loving. He's just a beautiful son. All that you could ever want in a son.
He had a dream and he moved to Reading, where he secured a job at the Holt School in Wokingham as a teacher, and a popular one too.
Yeah. Oh, he was, yeah. All you ever hear is inspirational. And you never forget an amazing teacher, do you? And he was so kind, and what the children said about him. That's his legacy for them children. I think of those young girls now, they've all left school, and I just think how he inspired them all going on in life, and they'll never forget him. He'll always be in their hearts.
It was the happiest he ever was at that school.
He was.
It kind of all the things we do when we go back and visit the school, that's James. We actually we feel James there. I wouldn't be exaggerating and saying we've probably got 400 or 500 letters in folders about how he impacted individual lives.
They were beautiful, and they wrote to him from the heart, Mr. Furlong, but they were sad as well to read.
Yeah,
very sad.
I think it took us nearly 2 years to finally get them into focus. Literally, we'd get through 5 or 6 and we'd be breaking down, to be honest with you. And Even now, when we go through things and we're dealing with things and we start to reflect through things, it's honestly, it's still
raw, isn't it?
It rips our hearts out, doesn't it?
It's still very raw. It still feels like last Saturday night all the time.
Yeah.
What happened?
Yeah. In some ways, it still feels like a dream, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
That it's, you know, it's a reality that we've been put into. I wouldn't wish it on anybody else. People say, you know, life goes on. It goes on, but it's just never the same. It's never as good.
Never will be.
Never will be, yeah.
Some beautiful tributes there. Now more of today's news, and a woman's appeared in court charged with the murder of a 90-year-old physician in Wirral. Myra Thompson was found dead in her home in Spittal earlier this week. 51-year-old Jane Hill from Upton appeared at Liverpool Magistrates Court charged with murder and theft. A man under investigation for theft has been released.
Sir Ed Davey has been on the campaign trail in the northwest today. The leader of the Liberal Democrats paid a visit to Hazel Grove to highlight his concerns around water quality in UK rivers. He also made a pitch for votes ahead of next week's local elections.
I think we can do well in these elections across the whole of England. If you look at this set of local elections, they're quite a small set of elections compared to recent times. But if you look at the last 2 years, Liberal Democrats were the surprise victors. You know, we had a fantastic set of local election results just last May. People said we'd do lucky to make just a few net gains. We made over 400. The swingometer on the TVs were broken because we did so well.
Well, next to the kindness of strangers, which is making a real difference to those struggling with the cost of living.
You may have heard about the phrase paying it forward, where people repay a good deed onwards to others. Well, now one scheme on the Isle of Man means those in financial hardship get free food and drink in some cafes.
Yes, it gives customers the option to pay a little extra, with the money going into a pot to cover the bill for those in need. Here's our Isle of Man reporter, Joshua Stokes.
On the peaceful shores of Peel, it's hard to imagine the struggles faced here. But for Michelle, life on the Isle of Man is tough. She uses her benefits to do what she can, but rising costs have proved too much.
Everything's going up high. I've had my gas disconnected. I've been disconnected since September. I just can't make the comeback. You can't afford to live. There's nothing worse than feeling like you can't provide for your own children, especially in winter. You can't even give them the heating that they require. We can't shower. We're having to boil a kettle to have hot water for dishes. And yeah, it's been hard.
Michelle relies on the island's food bank, but worries about what the future holds.
I've been having these pressures like over 12 months now, and now it's just, I used to think long term ahead and plan things and prioritise things. Now it's like I'm just trying to survive each day.
And Michelle isn't the only one. From the outside, the Isle of Man may look like an island filled with wealth and opportunity, but the reality is there are many people here who are really struggling, and the numbers are growing. In the south of the island, this cafe is doing what it can to help. They've signed up to the Isle Pay It Forward scheme, an initiative where customers can donate money to the island's cafes, which pay for other people's meals.
People that go to the food bank, they receive a card which is valid for 3 months, and we simply just press staff meal, put it through and tell them to take a seat and bring the food over. People can use it to sit in or to take away. We have a lot of regular customers that do make a lot of donations to us to help people for the food bank thing, so it does work and it's good.
Elizabeth is a regular at Cafe Red and says the scheme has completely changed her life.
Didn't really go anywhere. I wasn't very sociable. Kind of just stuck to me and my little boy in our own little bubble. But now it's just given me the go to get up and go out with him and socialise a little bit more. Because I struggled terrible for like the last 15 years. So yeah, for me, getting out and coming and sitting in a cafe is a big thing for me. So I wouldn't be where I am today without it. Definitely not. Definitely not.
Over 1,500 cards have been given out so far, and the Lifeline service is needed now more than ever.
There's so many people who are struggling at the moment that really I haven't even touched the sides of it. What I'm doing really is minimal compared to what is actually needed here on the Isle of Man.
Something Michelle knows all too well. as more families find themselves in similar situations. Joshua Stokes, ITV News in the Isle of Man.
I'd never heard of the term paying it forward.
You hadn't, had you? No. I know. It's a good idea, though, isn't it?
Fantastic
We need more
idea.
people to do things like that, definitely.
Brilliant.
OK, time for sport now. And Jurgen Klopp gives his backing to his possible successor. Here's Mike.
Yeah, that's right. Klopp says the next Liverpool manager will inherit the best job in the world. While he's not involved in the selection process, he has today spoken very positively about Feyenoord boss Arne Slot. Slot has confirmed he wants the Liverpool job and believes a deal is close as negotiations continue between the two clubs. Klopp believes Liverpool will be in safe hands should the Dutchman take control.
I like the way his team play football. I can say that definitely all the things I hear about him as a guy, good guy. Some people I know him. I don't know him yet, but some people tell me that he's a really good guy, and I like that a lot. So, good coach, good guy. Looking forward for the club if he's the solution.
Now, it's the final weekend of the season in Leagues 1 and 2, and for Blackpool and Bolton, still plenty to play for. Bolton head to Peterborough tomorrow with an outside chance of clinching automatic promotion. They need other results to go their way, otherwise it is the playoffs for them. Blackpool, meanwhile, are at Reading, knowing they must win if they want to sneak into the playoffs.
We will have one eye on results elsewhere because that might affect certain things on the pitch that we do from a tactical point of view, but we also know that we have to win the game. 3 points is our aim, and if we don't do that, then what happens elsewhere is irrelevant.
Well, it's also a huge weekend for Altrincham and their bid to be promoted to the Football League for the first time in their history. They go to Bromley for their National League playoff semi-final. A win would book their place in the final and a first trip to Wembley since 1986.
It'd be probably the biggest achievement in my football time. It'll be something that'll be huge for the town, the football club. So it's something we're really focused on.
It's always the young kids' dream, isn't it? Playing the biggest stadiums in front of the biggest crowd. I want to get as far as I can to Wembley, and we're at a great point now, aren't we? And hopefully I can get the team there.
Yeah, the very best of luck to Altrincham. Well, next to the groundbreaking cricket team, who are the first all-female side to play in the Men's Lancashire League. After winning every game last year, Ramsbottom Women's First 11 have now switched leagues in search of a tougher challenge. David Chisnall has been to see them.
Dating back to 1845, Ramsbottom Cricket Club has a proud history. Next time these players come down these steps, they'll be adding to it as the first all-women's team to play in the Lancashire League.
No one's really expecting it because you don't really expect a whole women's team to come into an all-men's league. Obviously, you do get like some girls playing in the men's teams, but you never get a full women's team. So I think it's been quite a shock to everyone.
Well, since being set up 4 years ago, this young side has grown to become all-conquering, winning every game last year to be crowned champions of the Women's Lancashire Cricket Foundation League. Now, in a bid to keep improving, they're taking on the men after switching to play in the Lancashire Third 11 League, Division 3.
We're not going out thinking we're going to win every single game, like we know we probably won't, but to win just maybe one or two would be an achievement to us, as well as obviously the development side of it, just becoming a better team overall.
I'm hoping it's all going to be supportive and positive. We are aware that obviously there may be a few people that aren't happy with this, but we'll let the cricket do the talking.
Well, Lancashire Cricket Club have been selected by the English Cricket Board to be one of 8 new professional women's teams next year. Many here play for the county at their age group, and the hope is the growth of the women's game will see it strengthened right from the top to Ramsbottom.
Encouraging women to play is like a really big step, and I feel like this is what we're doing, and it'll encourage more clubs to start women's teams as well to try and build a whole more stronger women's community within cricket.
The team's first game is at home to Accrington tomorrow. Whatever the result, if they can inspire other females to take up the sport, then how's that for success? David Chisnall, ITV News, Ramsbottom.
Yeah, the very best of luck to Ramsbottom. We will watch their season with interest, guys.
We will. It's all about female cricketers. Octagon in Bolton, there's a new play, sounds really exciting, all about women cricketers.
There you go.
Good.
Looking forward to it.
Get some tickets. Right, OK.
Thank you.
Cheers, Mike. Now, we have heard before from actor Rob Mallard, who plays Ken Barlow's son Daniel in Coronation Street. about a neurological condition that makes him shake.
Yes, his essential tremors are something that affect his everyday life, and unfortunately he says they're getting worse.
He's determined to make a difference and is pledging to raise awareness of his shaking, as he's been telling our entertainment correspondent Caroline Whitmore.
Thanks for all your help, OK, but where is family?
So am I. I'm Daniel, I'm Ken's son.
Rob, my lad, here we are in the Rovers' return. You play Daniel in Coronation Street. You've been playing him for 8 years.
Bill Roach calls it Corrie time. He says he only came in to do a couple of episodes. Still here now, 60 years later. It just like anything. If you enjoy what you do, it doesn't feel like work and the time just flies.
We cannot have this chat without giving a little nod to Roy, bless him.
Urgent medical assistance needed. Roy!
Just been in the reception and I've got, you know, Andy Wyman and Molly going, have you got your T-shirt, Cal? It feels like Deirdre all over again.
Yeah, Free the Weatherfield one. Well, it's Roy, isn't it? He's got such a lot of good feeling amongst the public that people don't want to see him suffer. I should be wearing a T-shirt.
You should be wearing
it. By right.
That is true. Where is your T-shirt?
I've messed up there.
Talk to us about the condition that you have.
It's called an essential tremor, which means that it's of unknown origin. They don't know what's causing it exactly. It's in the same disease family as Parkinson's and motor neurons, but it's the least dangerous of all three. It won't kill you. However, it is progressive. Katharine Hepburn had this. That's why she used to do the same thing.
Did she?
Yeah. There are certain things that I find so drinking from a pint on camera is tricky. I prefer for it to come to me in the script and then for me to go, how can I work out a way to do this without it being obvious? So far, haven't had anything like that.
Do that as well. Double whammy.
There we go.
There we go. It was your idea to do this with a pretend pint from the good old Rovers.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you don't want to be drinking this.
No.
Trust me.
That's incredible, because sitting opposite you, your hands don't look like they're shaking.
So it's because it's an active tremor. As soon as you engage a body part to do something, the tremor kicks in.
Thank you for showing us that.
A lot of people assume that it's an anxiety disorder. Even worse than that, they can assume that you're in withdrawal from having a drink. With my role now as the ambassador for young people at the Tremor Foundation, what we really want to sort of push in the public consciousness is that it's not those things.
Is the condition worsening then for you?
Yes. When I was 14, I was first diagnosed, it was just my left hand. Now it's both hands. I will get it in the diaphragm. I haven't got the head tremor today, but I have in the past. It wasn't something I ever really wanted to talk about. I just wanted to hide it, but I can't anymore because it's getting to the point where it's obvious.
Thank you for talking to us today.
Thank
you for putting yourself out there and talking about it. Go and get your T-shirt for Roy.
I need to, don't I? Yeah, I'm letting the side down here. Free the Weatherfield one.
Yeah, poor Roy. Thanks to Rob for showing us all about his condition. Really important that. Let's hope it makes a difference.
Absolutely. Now, after frost last night, what's happening to the weather this weekend? Here's Tori.
Have you burnt tea again?
I'm scraping the cooled oil into the bin, not the sink.
Can we eat outside? It's nice.
United Utilities sponsors ITV Granada weather.
Good evening. Yes, it's been a much brighter day today, but it has still been decidedly fresh, hasn't it? And finally, are we going to see those temperatures lift? Well, we've got to look into next week. And what's going to happen is this area of low pressure develops and heads our way through Saturday night into Sunday. And that does mean potentially an unsettled spell of weather, but it also means that we're going to drawing in some much milder air around this low. But I'll come back to that in just a moment. At the moment, we have had a few afternoon showers dotted around here and there, and they will clear out of the way through the remainder of this evening. Now, the promise is there for a little bit of late sunshine before the sun goes down, but it is going to be another quite chilly night. Perhaps not as cold as last night, though. Having said that, once again, the payoff is some morning brightness, but it is going to go downhill from there, I'm afraid, as thicker cloud starts to roll in quite quickly during the day tomorrow, and there will be the threat of a bit of rain mixed in with that cloud as well. So quite a grey end to the day. Temperatures still really struggling and just about getting into double figures. But the main band of rain heads up across from southeastern parts of the UK during Saturday night and into Sunday. Now, these isobars do get quite a squeeze, so it is potentially going to turn rather breezy out there, but it just depends on how far west this system comes. It's still a little bit uncertain, so I'll have to keep you updated over the weekend, but it will improve as Sunday goes on. So potentially a bit of a damp, cloudy start, brighter skies later, staying unsettled into next week. But look at these temperatures creeping up into the mid to high teens as we head through the week.
It's a little bit burnt.
United Utilities sponsors ITV Granada weather.
Tori, thank you very much indeed, and that is it from us so far today.
On our website, the story of how a Japanese tea set helped save George Harrison from boredom. That's a tease for you.
Oh, tease, very good. Right, we're off for a cuppa. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.